Say it ain't so, Joe. The comeback kids show up in Minnesota. They win a series. They come back. They score 8 unanswered runs. Head to Seattle on a getaway game that is sweet to the taste. That's right, Houston Astros fans. We got a lot of good things to talk about on this edition of Locked On Astros. Let's go.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X, Facebook, and on Instagram. And back to the bullpen on Instagram, on X, on iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Look, man, especially after today, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Make his first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. First of all, as a Cougar, that was a great game Saturday night. It was I thought it was over. I thought that they were going to be out of the playoffs. And then within the last 30 seconds, they Tracy McGrady'd it, so to speak. And they came back from like 7 points down and beat Duke. And now they're going to the championship game. So congrats to all the Cougs out there, everybody that's watching this. And I'm really happy for those Cougs. So the Astros took a page out of their book. They were down 7-1 in this game. And I think most of us were like, oh, with the way they've been hitting, Alvarez hasn't done anything this year with his bat. With the way everything's been going for the Houston Astros, this is a loss. But they somehow, like you said, 8 unanswered runs, then you tied up, and then you scored 2 runs in the 10th inning. When's the last time this happened? Maybe, Brett. Maybe this turns things around.
Exactly. And, I was actually lamenting today. I was doing some baseball therapy where I was like, let me look at the 2024 Astros in their first 8 games compared to the 2025 Astros. And I wasn't encouraged when I was done with my research, Eric, because get this, in 2024, after the first 8 games, the Astros had scored 32 runs and they had 33 runs scored against them. They had scored 4 or more runs 4 times. Twice they had scored 10 runs. In 2025, until today, they had only scored 4 runs more than once. And in 2024, they already had 11 home runs. And Yordan, I think, already had 4 at this point. Yordan was going off early on. But I was like, you know what? These stats are bittersweet. And I see we got our friend Joe, who's a Rangers fan who always loves to tout his every other year playoff team, the Texas Rangers. But look, the bottom line is this: it's early in the season, and you know that people are too wrapped up in this thing where they are calling for Espada being fired when they're down 5-1 or 6-1 or 7-1 to the Minnesota Twins. I'm like, come on. Like, every time when you go into a deficit, you can't demand someone get fired. If we did that at that pace, no one would work for the Astros. You would have the Aramark guys or the dudes that make the Crawford dogs coaching the team. I mean, you can't do that. But the Astros win their second series of the season. In the Minnesota Twins, they came in a mess. Their pitching was a mess. And I chronicled it on the show that I did solo and talked about how they were bottom 4 in the league in like ERA, FIP, home runs per 9. And to see the loss yesterday where the Astros were absolutely ineffective at the plate, it was frustrating because Altuve came back from that 0-5, 0 for 5 game with 5 strikeouts to get 3 hits, and then the team doesn't support him. And then today, the start, and we'll get to this, Brunel Blanco just did not look good today. So you had 2 starters in a row start the game not very well. But baseball is not about how you start. It's about how you finish.
Right.
And at the end of the game, if you have more runs than the other team, I don't care how it came about. If you would have told me Jake Myers would steal home, and you would tell me that Paredes would be 4 for 6, and you would tell me that Rafael Montero and Josh Hader would both be up for reliever of the game, I would be like, maybe Hader. I don't know about Montero. But this was a total team win, Eric.
Yeah, especially with Contreras. He came in and got 7 outs, but he did give up the 3 runs. But Montero, nobody expected a lot from this year, but he came in and settled the game down. He set the tone for the rest of the game with 2 shutout innings. Then you had Brian King, then Brayu come in, and then Hader pitched 2 innings. A lot of people were suspecting, well, is Joe Espada going to bring him out for that 10th inning? He did. He came out, and it wasn't a save because he qualified for the win, but it was a save situation. So he was getting his own save, imaginary save for his own victory there. But he went out there, 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings. Montero had 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings. And overall, the bullpen did its job. Contreras, I don't know if he's the answer. And Brett, by the way, we have some breaking news by Ari Alexander. And I have a feeling that Luis Contreras is going down, but Logan Van Wey is going to be getting called up. So I don't know what the corresponding move is, but based on his performance so far, I would guess it'll be Contreras. And they need some innings because they have used a lot of innings out of the bullpen the past couple of days.
Look, our guy, friend of the show, Ari Alexander of KPRC Channel 2, he really has become one of my favorite sports reporters in this city. Last year he had a dominant spring. A dominant season. He had a dominant spring training. I really thought he would make the lineup on the opening day roster, but they went with Luis Contreras, and that's fine. The Sugarland Space Cowboys right now are probably not the best place for him because they're not getting a lot done offensively. They just got blanked again. I think they lost like 16-1 the other day. They didn't do well today offensively. So if you've got a guy like Logan Van Wey who can throw the ball, who can throw strikes, who can throw in the 90s, he's a big body pitcher. You get him up here because you saw what Ryan Gusto did in his multiple inning outing was absolutely phenomenal. So where the Astros we thought were going to be shaky, they've actually been strong. And overall, the starting pitching has been good. Hayden Wesneski's only had 1 start, okay? But we're going to Seattle. And as one of our commenters said, they're 3 outs away right now from being swept themselves. So Seattle's not exactly world beaters right now, and we can catch them on a downside. Again, I'll say it today, and I'll keep saying it. You can't lose the division in March or in April, but you can win the division in April. You win some key games. You string some key wins because we got 3 against the Mariners. We come back 3 against the Angels where they got a Mike Trout that's super hot. I love what this bullpen's doing, Eric. And to have Yordan Alvarez to contribute in the first inning and contribute in the last inning and get up there and hit that 2-run home run, big for the big fella, because he said his swing has been getting there and it looks like it's finally there, but we didn't pick him to be player of the game. We'll talk about that on the other side of our first break.
Yeah, guys. So we'll talk about Lance McCullers' start yesterday. We'll talk about the offense and how many hits they got overall, scoring those 9 runs. This was a overall great game for the Houston Astros, even though it got off to a bad start. Spencer Arrighetti, he didn't have a good start. I think he was off to a good start, but unfortunately
an error in left field.
Error in left field by basically a dropped transfer to his.
It's that darn transfer.
Yeah.
He's a pro.
That's what Altuve was doing today. He was working on that transfer.
He's a pro, but he can't get the transfer in outfield. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay. All right.
But we'll talk about this more on the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hey there, this is H-Town Wheelhouse here with Locked On Astros, and our sponsor today is Just Ingredients. Let me tell you about Just Ingredients. They are phenomenal. And I'm going to show you right here. This is what I had before I went and worked out today. And let me tell you, unbelievable. And when they say just ingredients, they mean just ingredients. There's no artificial stuff. You don't have to worry about the quality of product that you're putting in your body. They are designed to support better health and peak performance. It offers NSF certified line of protein powder, electrolytes, pre-workout, and creatine, all rigorously tested to ensure they're free from substances banned from major sports organizations. Two-time MVP Bryce Harper trust it, so why shouldn't you? H-Town Wheelhouse trusts it. I'm telling you, I've taken pre-workouts before. Sometimes pre-workouts, they get you so jittery, they make you feel like you have needles in your skin, or they cause a big crash. Just Ingredients doesn't do that. It keeps the playing field level, but it keeps you full of energy, and it's done without the junk. Whether you're recovering from your workout, you need energy boost, or their grass-fed whey protein or pre-workout, they can deliver real results. So right now, go to justingredients.us and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for 20% off your order. That's 20% off your order. For more wellness tips, follow at just.ingredients on Instagram today.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and make this your first listen: Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. And go and check us out on YouTube. I guess a lot of y'all are watching us live on YouTube. We appreciate that. Just go ahead and hit that little subscribe button and make us your first listen every day. So I know that it's been a little bit frustrating season so far, and I know a lot of people are sending us messages. Oh, it'd be nice to have that KT guy back in the organization, but he's with the Cubs now. We can go ahead and move on for that. But I know the Astros aren't having the season we may have wanted, but I think there's still time. There's still time, and we finally saw the offense do what we kind of thought they're going to do. They're probably not going to score 9 runs every day, but they had the 13 hits, and that's something that they've been missing. They had some extra base, well, only 3 extra base hits, but the 3 extra base hits they had today were pretty important. But the 13 hits overall, they had the 4 walks. They did have 9 strikeouts overall, but overall you had Altuve with 2 hits, Paredes with 4 hits, Alvarez with 2 hits, Christian Walker with 2 hits, Rogers with another 2 hits, and then Myers with a big hit himself, and later on with a big stolen base to kind of clinch the victory for the Houston Astros.
Yeah, exactly, Eric. Like I said, this is a complete team win. And look, we want to name someone like Yordan Alvarez as player of the game because he's Yordan Alvarez and he just continues to do what he normally does. But the guy that I think should get the award is the 4-for-6 Isaac Paredes, who raised his average to 242. His OPS is creeping up closer to 700. He had 2 RBI, 1 run, only 1 strikeout in the 4 hits. I mean, this guy absolutely put together a masterful game. And obviously without his contribution, you wouldn't have a win. But you get this, you had Altuve, Paredes, Alvarez, and Walker. They all had at least 2 hits each. That is huge. Of the 13 hits, you had 2, 4, 8. You had 10 of the 13 hits come from your top 4 guys. What have those top 4 guys done this year, Eric? Not consistently. Right. They haven't hit, right? Like Altuve will hit. Yordan hasn't hit for most of the season so far, the first 9 games until today. And a lot of times, hitting is contagious. And there's a lot of talk of we shouldn't have brought up Smith. We brought him up too early. He's not playing every day. I think they're going to ride the Cam Smith thing out. I think once you put Cam Smith in this lineup, and if they're hitting, if you get the bottom of your lineup, I mean, Brendan Rodgers, Eric, he's hitting 333 with an OPS of 824. Now, I am pumping the brakes. I know it's only 9 games, but this guy's contributing. He's the bottom of your lineup. Jake Myers is contributing. If the bottom of your lineup contributes 1 out of every 3 games, that's better than having a bottom of the lineup that doesn't contribute at all. So Isaac Paredes, you are our player of the game. You get a gift card to Buc-ee's if I can get you one or something like that.
I mean, Paredes had a great game. The Astros wouldn't have won without this game, but Alvarez would probably be second on the list because of that home run to tie the game. Definitely, if it wasn't that 2-run home run, and it was a blast. It wasn't even a cheapie Like sometimes a wind-aided home run, it was a bomb. And you could tell by the relief on his face that he was excited that this happened. And the pitcher was not excited. You've got to love that when Alvarez gets into one and the pitcher's reaction, you could tell that they are really excited about that, or unexcited, I guess I should say. But going back to Rogers, if he is the second best hitter on the team right now, is it going to be like that forever? No, but right now they need him. They need Jake Myers batting 250 with a 743 OPS with the way the rest of the team it has been hitting recently. And I looked at the lineup before the game, and I'm like, look at all these below 200 hitters. And we know that they're better than this. Why is the team struggling? It's because of the offense. Yes, the pitching the past couple of days has not been great, but we know that the pitching is going to be decent enough to win a whole bunch of ball games. Yes, you're gonna have some Altuve mistakes, some errors in left field, but he's looking a lot better. He's making some better routes and making some good decisions. Like he threw to second base where some inexperienced left fielders probably have thrown third base. That probably prevented a runner from moving up. So he is getting it. It's going to take some time. He's never played this position. You may lose a game or two with Altuve out there in left field, but he's having fun. You could tell that he's excited about it. And if he makes a mistake, what is he doing? The very next day, he's out there learning how he can not do that. You've got to get control of the ball before you throw it. And even as an infielder, your first reaction is to get the play done. And so you're thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? So what Altuve needs to do in the outfield is make sure that A, he gets control of the ball, and then B, if I get control of the ball, what do I do with the ball? And you know that's what Joe Espada, you know what that's what all the rest of the coaches are trying to get him to do, is just get him used to the situational fielding that comes with being in the left field. And yes, I think Saturday's game, it probably cost Spencer Arrighetti that game. And I think they kind of cannonballed from there. But I think that you're going to see a lot more better games from Spencer Arrighetti.
Exactly. Now, before we look ahead to the Mariners, I want to bring up something that is related to the Houston Cougars, because it was a quote from Kelvin Sampson after the game, and I love this. And I think this is something that defined the game today, and you hope can define the Astros over the long season. He said after the win, "No one ever loses at anything as long as you don't quit. When you quit, I don't care. You've lost." The Astros, you can say what you want about this team. You can say what you want about how Joe Espada is not a great manager, about how Dana Brown didn't go out and get this guy, about how Jim Crane is cheap, blah, blah, blah. But what happened? Let's go back to last year. What was the conversation? The Astros are done. The dynasty run is over. Now, obviously, you don't want a first-round exit being swept by the Tigers, but you made it to the playoffs in one of the most improbable comebacks in all MLB history.
Right.
This team has character. This team doesn't understand quit. While everybody else is crapping on the season, firing the coach, firing the general manager, giving up on the team, that team is out there. They are grinding like hell. That is why they are the pros and we are not. So we have got to take a page out of the Astros playbook. Is this going to be a stressful year? 100%. Okay. But is it going to come without rewards? Absolutely not. Hard work beats talent when talent is overworked, when talent is outworked. And whether a team is more talented than the Astros or not, well, I would tell you what they don't have. They don't have the mentality and the experience that this clubhouse has. So y'all go ahead and sleep on your team. Everybody else outside of Houston, just put us to rest. Put a tombstone over the Houston Astros, and I promise you, it will pay dividends for the Astros in the end, because we will be the ones breaking out of the graves and dancing on your playoff graves when we advance to the ALCS to play the Red Sox at the end of the season.
Okie dokie. You went there with the tombstone already. I know what you mean, though. But
right. No, I'm just talking about the mindset. I'm tired of every time this team loses, someone's like, "Oh, fire the coach. Oh, fire this guy." What are you talking about? If you're the boss and your business isn't running well for 2 weeks and a month, do you fire yourself? No, you persist. Do you give up? Quit asking the Astros to give up. They're not giving up. You're giving up. Don't make excuses for your lack of mental fortitude. The Astros have that. I'm riding with this team. They're my ride or die.
Okay, guys. When we get back, we'll go and talk a little bit more about the Seattle Mariners series, who is starting in that series, and what did Lance McCullers do on the mound for the Corpus Christi Hooks yesterday. We'll talk about that and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hey, everybody. I almost said, hey, episode. Hey, everybody. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place. It is the ticketing marketplace for Major League Baseball. And I can tell you it takes the stress out of buying tickets. Plus, prices drop as game time gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal game day. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go to one of the first Rockets playoff games here in a few weeks when they get into the playoffs and when those tickets go on sale. But hey, here's my secret, and I'll share it with you. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to get it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to get it game day, and I'm going to get it from Game Time. That's right, because I find the best deals. I don't care if it's 20 minutes before tip-off. I'm going to get that ticket because the price is dropping. What's cool is I can search all the deals right there in one spot. I don't have to go all over the place. I can see where my ticket is. I get a preview of the exact seat before purchasing. No surprises whatsoever. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. If it's good for me and it's good for Eric, then you guys know you got to check it out. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and go ahead, please. Go ahead, subscribe to us. There's a little red button down there. Just says subscribe. It takes a second. Click, and you can go and control whether you get notified when we go live. And go and check out Michael Connor with the Locked On Postcast as well. Lance McCullers, he made his, I believe, his third start, second start in the minor leagues, but yes. He went 1 2/3 innings, allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 1 home run. It was not the best start. He was still around 95 miles per hour with fastball. So he's just working out his kinks. Just remember that he has not really pitched in 2 years. So he's trying to get into major league action ready. So it's going to take some time. And it seems like how many pitches did he throw? He threw 50 pitches. So he's upping it by 10 pitches every time he goes out there. Right. So maybe next time it'll be 60. And before he comes up to the Astros, it's probably going to be around 80 to 90.
Now, I haven't seen any footage of him being interviewed, but remember, you don't look necessarily at results, right, especially from a pitcher. You look at how does he feel the next day? When they evaluate his outing, were his pitch shapes good? Was his velocity there? Was he hitting the zone? No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying this for everybody understanding that, a lot of times you get a lot of overreactions from rehab starts, and rehab starts are not about the results. Rehab starts are about getting ready, because once you get to the major leagues, you have a different game plan. You have a professional planning your game. And speaking of professionals who plan your game, one of the things we need to keep an eye on is someone in the lineup that's our starting catcher is Yordan Diaz, friend of the show. He is struggling mightily, Eric, not only behind the plate, but defensively. He's not gunning down the runners like you'd like him to. Now, I don't know if you noticed, Rafael Montero picked off a runner at first. It was his first pickoff as a pitcher in an Astros uniform in his professional career. So that was a cool thing to see. But Yordan Diaz is having a tough start to the season. I would like to see Yordan Diaz pick it up in Seattle, and it's going to be tough because we go against Logan Gilbert first, and then we face both Luis Castillos. There is a Luis Castillo who's a rookie and Luis Castillo who is the veteran. More likely, I'd rather face the rookie than the veteran, but the Mariners are going to throw some really good pitching at us. We have to be on top of our game plan, wondering if Caratini's going to get the start since Wesneski's starting game 1 in Seattle.
Maybe we'll have to see, but I know before today's game, Joe Espada listed the next two starters as TBA, and that was because Framber Valdez has a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of fatigue. So, but after the game, they did say that Framber Valdez would be pitching the second game, and Hunter Brown will be pitching the third game. So it has been official.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So Wesneski, because on the Astros media notes today, they just had Hayden listed for Monday.
I know. That's what I just said. So
yeah.
Before it was TBA, and the reasoning why was Framber Valdez was a little bit under the weather.
Cool. Okay. So everything's in line. Everything's in order. That's good. This team, Eric, there are so many storylines. This isn't going to be a boring team to talk about this year. Because you're going to have guys like Jake Myers and Chas McCormick and Brendan Rodgers become contributors. You're going to have guys like right now, like, Yainer Diaz, who's going to kind of disappear from the lineup. Another guy that I'm a little worried about right now, Jeremy Peña, hitting 161. Jeremy Peña, who hit the first home run of the season, looked really good in spring, was getting a lot of lift on the ball. Man, today he had some opportunities to execute some RBI situations and ground it out. And he just didn't look good at the plate. So hopefully he can get his footing when they get to Seattle. Hopefully he can have kind of a breakout series, because if you can get Jeremy Peña, I mean, look, after that fourth hitter, he's your fifth guy. And if Jeremy Peña starts hitting, maybe that bleeds down to Yainer. And someone's saying, well, Brendan Rodgers is hitting so well, put him in front of Diaz. I don't know that you're going to flip Diaz yet, but Diaz is definitely the one that's struggling the most with the 077 average, 220 OPS. I can hardly say that. And then Peña with the 612 OPS. So these are a couple guys that I would like to see take advantage of their opportunities, because if they're also hitting, Eric, this is a powerful lineup 1 through 7.
Well, I think if you start seeing more outings like this where they get 13 hits and have 7 RBIs and 4 walks, the on-base percentage will start going up. You'll start seeing the batting average going up, the OPS start going up. I'm not too worried about the offense. I think down the road it's going to be fine. We know enough about these guys to predict what these guys are going to do. The only person I'm really worried about is Cam Smith. We don't really know what he's going to do at the major league level. And a lot of people are saying, well, maybe they brought him up too soon. Maybe they should send him down to AAA and give him some time to work on his swing and then bring him back up when he's ready. And I still like the idea of when he's ready, possibly offering him an extension at that time. But I think that they're going to try to give him as much of opportunity as they can, and then see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that, Eric. And I know you brought up in the past talking about Christian Campbell with the Red Sox, kind of comparing him a little bit, even though I think the counterpoint to that is that he's had like 2 years in the minors, so he's had several more at bats. But Cam Smith, let's just say he gets hot. Let's just say he goes halfway through April and heats up, like halfway through April into May, and the kid's hitting 275, 280, has a few home runs. That's when I think you extend him. I don't know. It would be solid optics for them to sign him now as he's struggling. Maybe it looks like he's earned it. Who knows? I know phantom injuries, quote unquote, aren't a part of the game anymore, but he may come up injured at some point, and going down to AAA or even AA probably wouldn't be a bad thing for him, Eric. If they ride this thing out through the end of May and he's still not producing, why not do that? And it wouldn't be like, hey, Cam, we believe in you. We just need you to get this fixed. We've got some guys down there that are ready to help you get you honed in. And I don't think that's going to be a bad thing. And remember, if he goes down for, I think, 2.5 weeks, he stays under that 172 and they save that year of service. So we may still be talking about some service manipulation as well. But look, it's all on the table. Service manipulation, go down for a couple weeks, sign an extension. He could heat up. So we don't know. We just got to know that, to me, he comes across as a kid that's a student of the game, that he's going to just put his nose to the grindstone and he's going to work his tail off. I think he'll come around because he is a great kid. He's really good defensively. I think he's getting better, and I think the sky's the limit for him. We just have to give him some time.
And I know we probably need to do this. We've given Jake Myers a lot of crap on this show. And in today's game, not only did he have the hit, but he also he had 2 stolen bases in this game. He had 3 walks. He was on base a lot in this game, and he was a big reason why the Astros won this game. If it wasn't for Paredes' 4-hit game and Alvarez getting his first home run of the season, I would think that Jake Myers should get some votes for player of the game in this situation.
Yeah.
But and also, I think that Alvarez was a little pissed because he had a great little hit earlier where he was robbed in left field on the RBI double there that would have put the Astros even closer. So he was just like, you know what, let me hit it where they can't catch it anymore. So
he just demolishes baseballs. But you're right. Look, Jake Myers not only stole home, he got hits, he kept his helmet on. He kept his helmet on. I have a picture of Jake Myers in the Locked On Astros now, right after the game, where he's swinging and his helmet's still on his head. And I'm like, there you go, Jake. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. The Nebraska Cornhusker. Okay. Go Huskers. All shucks.
As Willie Castro was going out to catch a ball, I think it was Altuve's that ended up falling, but the little pop-up that ended up falling for a hit, I believe it was Altuve's.
No, that was Yordan.
Oh, it was Alvarez? It's okay.
That was Alvarez because I was listening to the game at the time. I was on the road and I was like, it's like, oh, he popped up and they're like, what's going on? Like,
but Willie Castro actually dropped his hat and took his hat off so he could try to catch that ball.
Oh yeah,
he totally lost it. So.
Hey man, look, it was windy. The sun was out, no clouds. But Eric, what a great series win. But hey, guys, guess what? We got some late night Locked On Astros coming up this week.
Oh, crap, Seattle. Why do you do this to us? Why does it have to be 9 o'clock? It's going to be like 1 o'clock sometimes.
8:40 game time on Monday. I think the third game is a day game, Eric.
Okay.
8:40 on the game 2 and 3:10 on game 3. So there you go. You get some reprieve there.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. After struggling scoring runs all year, they finally scored 9 runs. Who would have thought this? I guess they took a page out of U of H's scorebook and they came back and beat the Twins. So, guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go ahead and check us out. And we will see you tomorrow. And Brett?
Go Stros. Oh, I forgot. I told you not to say, what do we say? All right, Wesley, we'll go live. We'll do a little break in.